It's Isabella back at it again. I guess recording something before I go off to work and come back smelling like crap. Fun fact about my work, I work at a diner and I'm a dishwasher there. I do not do waitressing. I've learned something very special with waitressing, and I'll get into that later. As someone who does not have, I guess, a steady wage, like I get paid, $600 a month. It's a nice amount of money. It's not ideal for, I guess, an income, but I'm also a minor, so it doesn't really matter at the moment. But it's what's basically paying for this. I got this off of Amazon for like $30 using the money that I have been getting from this. Now, working in a diner teaches you a lot. Number one, you never trust the plates that you're eating off of. We clean our plates as best as possible, but I know for a fact that not everyone does that. It kind of opens your eyes to what it's like to be a dishwasher in the back. Restaurants are like, oh, you can wash the dishes, and you're like, oh, washing dishes isn't that bad. Once you put into this perspective of actually being a dishwasher, you're handling people's food. You're handling all of the food. You're making sure that none of the food goes down the drain, because then you have issues. It's a lot of work to try and get all of your stuff done as quickly as possible. It is a mess to be a dishwasher. Not to mention, in a diner, you have 3 different parts of a job, right? You can be a waitress / hostess, and I'll get to them in a second. You can be a cook, which I cannot do because I work at a family-owned business, and you can be a dishwasher. Moving on to the most important thing about tipping your waitresses. Fun fact, if you didn't know, waitresses get paid a base amount of money, which means they get paid $2 an hour, and that's all. To think about the fact that their wages are mostly built off of tips is crazy to me. My mom's rule is you pay at least 10%, 15%, 20%. That's it. I've learned that off of her, and that's because she was a waitress. Now, what I didn't know is that waitresses get paid a very small amount of their weekly, what they get paid per hour. And it was just baffling to me to believe that those cups that they put all their tips in, that's basically their monthly income. And I'm like, what? Because if you think about it, those tips are what they make their money. That's how they make their money. They make their money off of tips. When I found that out, I was baffled. And honestly, shout out to the waitresses at my work. They are awesome. Really great people, really sweet. They hand out good service. Now, here's what blows my mind, is to think that people will come in and order an $80 meal and then turn around and only pay $3 as a tip. Who does that? I know a lady who goes in my work, and she served a group that had a $100 meal, and they left behind $1. And I would just like to say, for everyone who is watching, there is no judgment to anyone who does this, except for it is very, 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 very frustrating for people who are trying to get an income. If you only have $2 on hand, then you only have $2 on hand. That's understandable. We live in a world where card is more used and cash is not. Don't do that, ladies and gentlemen. Do not do that. Those people, they work hard at their job. They have to deal with your BS. They have to deal with other people's BS. They have to go home smelling like crap every single day. Some of them are younger. Some of them are minor. Some of them that's their part-time job to get extra money on the table for their families. If you come in, you get a fairly large amount of money, sort of meal, and you only pay them not even 10%. I shame you. I will watch people come back from church and treat waitresses like crap on Sundays, on the days that I do work Sundays, because I'm at church. It is baffling to me to think about what the waitresses go through at work and how they go through everything. And we don't do tip pools, where you just put all of your tips into one thing and you divide them evenly. No, your tips are your tips. Tipping is a thing. Please do it. PSA, tip your waitresses. I feel there needs to be an American PSA on something like that. By the way, PSA stands for public service announcement. I learned that in broadcast when I had to do my own on eating disorders and everything, because PSAs. I feel like there should be one on like tipping your waitresses, because like it's not mandatory, but it's good to have that awareness, you know? Like don't do that. Come into a restaurant and only pay your waitress $3. They deserve that money, unless they're terrible service. Then still, just don't be like that. It's sad. I look down on people like that. I do. So moving on to basically cooks and everything, they have a tough life. I work at a diner, as I said. It's a family owned one, but we cook breakfast and we cook dinner and like lunch and everything. And we have the giant grills. Oh my gosh, like they go through so much. They are around like the hot of the hot like things. So we have a steam table for like vegetables and mashed potatoes to keep everything warm. They are the ones by the grills. They are the ones by the fryers where you like fry the fries and whatnot. They're the ones who come home smelling like a tater tot. And I get it, like that's tough, but like you gotta move. You gotta think about the dishwashers too. Now, whenever my family comes in to eat, I say, hey, you're eating salad, clear your bowl. And here's why. Whenever we bring your dishes back, we have to clean out everything in them, and then we put them in the water. Because if we don't, then we have floating pieces of like salad going around. It's gross. It's gross. But I love my job. I really do. Is it exhausting? Yes. Do my coworkers kind of get annoying sometimes? Yes. But do they treat their like workers fairly? Yes. I am incredibly fortunate to have this as my first job. We get like free food. We get a nice paycheck. We get treated with respect. We have a radio in the back that we could set to whatever we want. There's 3 channels on the back radio. It's still a radio that plays music. I'm allowed to have one earbud in if I'm at least doing my job correctly. And like, it's just a really nice like surrounding, you know? Especially like I'm in a small town, and I feel like that's what kind of makes up this, is that people know my boss. They will come back and they'll just be like, oh, hi, and you know, say hi. They'll stop by, say hello. Old workers will come in, like they'll stand in the back part of the kitchen and whatnot, you know? Like it is a community, not just a job. And that's how I see my job, and that's how I like to come in every day. My bosses care for me. My coworkers care for me. I care for my coworkers. Anytime someone's leaving, I'm like, hey, like, be safe. And like, it's just this really tight and close community that I'm working in. And I feel like that's what more places need to have in like the workplace, is like a community. Whenever I see places that like they go out, my mom, she works at a bank, and they participated in a parade, and I was like, oh, that's so cool. Like I feel like jobs need to have that like family-ish bond to them, because that's what helps you to like come to work every day smiling. You want to go to work. I feel like that's just something I am very blessed with for my first job. And honestly, I would not trade my job for anything else in the world. Maybe a librarian, that way I don't come home smelling like crap. But like, I'm so fortunate to be in my workplace. And I mean, it's great. I really do like my job. That's all I have for today. Check out my other videos. They're sometimes funny. Sometimes they're like, what in the world is she on? I promise you I am not on crack. Bye.